let's record on this computer. Okay, so we are now recording.
Perfect.
Everything that we're going to talk about is going to be in a file that I will have, and then if you want, I can put this I can email it to you. I can put it on I can put it into the cloud, so you have a link to it, or I can put it on YouTube, whatever. I think YouTube is easy enough. All right.
Very helpful. Thanks.
So when I put it on YouTube, it's going to be public. So what that means is that that anybody can see it, but nobody's looking. It doesn't matter. Hello everybody. Hi the world. Whoever just landed here, you're going to find out our dirty little secrets. No, I'm kidding. You're going to find out about a fantastic project that is going on in Zambia. All right, so what we're doing right now is we're gonna share my screen, and what I'm going to do is just quickly show you because we're going to edit the donate page, because the donate page is a page that is set up on a different website in a system called Patreon. And the name of the donation system is called Patreon. And the reason why they use that word patron is because kind of like, how patrons help you, patronage, patrons help you. When you have a patron, means somebody's giving you some money, like a sugar daddy. Like Peter is your patron, Lucky. Peter is your patron right now. And what we're trying to do is create it so that Peter, not only is Peter your patron, but everybody in the world is your patron, by going to the patron site, called AmanoMaka, and then they can give their money, all right? So let's go ahead and share my screen. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm going to show you here what is the actual Patreon site. It's the way you say it is called Patreon. All right, let me just see. You see that? Patreon, Patreon. All right.
Yeah.
So we what we did was we set up a site called Patreon, where we have a page within Patreon, where people can give us money, and as soon as they give us money, it goes into our bank account, which is a separate individual bank account called AmanoMaka checking account, bank account, and then whatever money goes in there, I'll just forward it to you, Lucky. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. So here's what happens. If you want it, we got the picture, we've got the logo. If you want to change that stuff, just come here and do it. Just change it. You got to learn how to do it. So you come here, you log in. Should we log out and log in? Oh, that's dangerous. All right, how do you log out? So how about this? You see this log out right here? Okay, so I'm gonna log out. All right, so notice that, what's the website I'm going to here? All right, how about this? All right, it's called HTTPS. Can everybody see what I'm doing here?
Yes.
Patreon.com/AmanoMaka. Do you see that?
Yeah.
So if I go to that site right there, where do I get to? I get to this place. You see where it says this is your site. So your site is okay. Your site is located at patreon.com/AmanoMaka. That's it. Patreon.com.
We know that. We've been looking at that, Lisbeth and I.
Good. All right. So then when you go here and you do a login, right? You click on login. Oh, it's going to ask you what your email is. So let's see what the email is. Oh, it's info@amanomaka.org.
Okay. Okay.
You follow?
Yep. Yes.
All right. Now, I'm not going to show you the password because that's dangerous. Because this video goes public.
Yes, okay. Understood.
Okay.
Yeah, so we just get the password
A different
email.
All right. So
Yeah.
let me
keys to the car, number 2.
what?
That's what you sent last time. You named it keys to the car.
All right. Okay. So I'll send. Okay. All right. So then once you get in with the password, right, you click on page. And then you can either view the page or you can edit the page. So let's click on edit the page. All right, so let's go down here, the basics, right? All right, what's the name of the website? AmanoMaka.org. What are you creating? Permaculture training for a sustainable village in Zambia. Let's go for, Lucky said something like Kaniki. How do you spell Kaniki?
K-A-N-I.
Kaniki.
Okay, how about this? Permaculture training for Kaniki, comma. Oh, that it doesn't let you put a comma in. How about this? Wow, it doesn't let you put anything else in there. Shit. Interesting. Okay, so we pretty much get to the end here. Training. Okay, so, but the thing is that's not the only thing that we're doing. We're not only doing permaculture, we're also doing a school, and then we're also doing compost toilet, or whatever. There's a whole bunch of stuff, right? Sustainability. So we have to come up with a statement here that summarizes what we're doing.
Yes. That's spreading knowledge how to generally be as much self-sustainable as possible. Like the knowledge from all of this is living in Africa under where we are. I don't know how to express myself there.
That's what, okay, so the trick to learning how to do that is to write things down like you're just doing a brainstorm. There you go. That's right, Peter. I know.
That's what I'm doing all the time.
I know.
This was written 4 o'clock this morning when I went to take a leak.
Okay, good. All right, so then what you do is you leave and you go have a cup of coffee or whatever, you relax and you do something else, and then you come back and you try to rethink it. So sometimes when one is struggling to articulate, like I have it all the time. And so what I do is I go away and then I come back to my notes and I kind of try to improve upon them. All right, so what do we have here? Permaculture training for Kaniki, a sustainable. It won't let me put any more characters in here. All right.
Yeah, but can I say something? I think I liked it when it had, just Zambia, like not limiting it to Kaniki.
Okay. All right. So then let's do that. So permaculture training for a sustainable village in Zambia. Should we leave it like that for now?
I think so.
I think so, yes.
All right. There's the picture. Okay. And then about. Okay. This is what I wrote. AmanoMaka's mission is to spread the knowledge of, this is what you wrote, Peter, spreads the knowledge of small-scale self-sustainable farming, facing the challenges of climate change, to eradicate poverty, reduce illiteracy among the vulnerable in society, and stop desperate migration, period, okay? And then we've got, help us by making a donation. Even better, I wrote, set up an automatic monthly donation and help sustain the people of Ndola. Is that Ndola or Kaniki?
Yeah, the thing is, Kaniki is in Ndola. So the bigger district is Ndola, then there's Kaniki, which is one of the places in Ndola.
What should this be called? Help sustain the people of what?
Kaniki. We have to put it to Kaniki, Lucky. Ndola is
okay,
too big.
Yeah, sure.
All right, so then I changed the word Ndola or whatever it was, and then I changed it to Kaniki. Can you see that?
Yes.
And then I wrote the words, we sincerely thank you for your support. And then I'm going to click down here, save changes. Save changes. So the changes are now saved. And now if I want to view the page, I go over here. Do you see where it said view page? I click on view page. And then it's going to change, and there's the page. And you see what it says? You've got it. You got it. You see what this is your Patreon view. You see Patreon view?
Yeah, but on the AmanoMaka website, you had already changed the text for our mission, the very first sentence.
Peter, I'm trying to show you this site, not the other site. All right. So then view your public page. All right. So public page, and you see how it now says Kaniki?
Yes.
Okay. So there's the page. So what I just did was I just showed you
How to change.
Edit
Yes.
the patron page.
Yes.
All right. So if you want to end up writing in a different way or putting a different picture, that's how you do it. All right. So that's the donor page, the page to create.
Yeah. So that's what I just wanted to say. We'll just practice by taking the text that our mission, the one you have right there now, and put that onto the patron side as well.
Exactly. Good.
So that was what I was trying to
Exactly.
say.
All right. Okay. So now what we can do, because we're at a different time, Peter, you and I are going to sit down and just go through each of the words everywhere, you know, like all the sentences.
Yes.
But what I'd like to talk about right now is maybe correct something I said last week, because I'm seeing that there's a lot we have a lot of challenges here. All right. So I can't even talk, right? I am used to setting up a sophisticated system of communications for a company. So usually we're talking about sophisticated companies that are capable and able and need, right? Oh, I'm getting fuzzy, right? My camera sometimes gets a little lazy. All right. If I put my light on me, maybe it gets better. Okay, there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was it. Yeah.
So what happens is that, you know, like some companies, they need to go Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, all the rest of it, so that they can, you know, somehow like make millions of dollars or for whatever reason, right? Now, I started to think, do we really need that? Like, do we need to go Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, you know, like all this? Or should we maybe start small and in the following way? We do the website, we do the donation page, and Twitter, or do we do Facebook, Instagram? You know, the thing about Instagram is that all the kids are on Instagram. All the children, all the young people, they're on Instagram, and you know, young people don't always have money, you know?
Yeah. That's what Lisbeth also said. Lisbeth is a lot on Instagram, and she said, why are we on that? It's not going to be seen by very much potential donors.
And it's not.
Whereas Facebook is more like the 50 plus business people and YouTube.
Exactly.
And we've been talking about, Lisbeth has a whole library of videos put with text, dates. Every single day we were in Zambia, it was like just after we had our class reunion, every day is on this video, so we can start telling our story like gradually to grab people's interest. And that's what Lisbeth and I are working on, to get that onto a YouTube channel. Lisbeth has already named the YouTube channel, which is not open yet, and Facebook as well. So we have picked things to now show the pictures of the current situation and the historical background, how we got to it, to grab people's interest.
Great.
And at the same time, Lucky and I will be practicing from now on how to record our Zoom video and put that onto that. When we're on a topic, we are talking into explaining how we got here.
Yeah, excellent. I'm glad you mentioned that. So let's talk about that after we solve the social media question.
Okay.
First, we're going to solve the social media question, and then let's get to the kind of the Zoom recording interviews. Okay. So I think we're all agreed that we're not going to use Instagram. Is that fine? Is that, I mean, if anybody wants to do it, they can do it, but it's
all right. I'll scratch it off my list. Great.
Right. So now we're very clear that we're going to use Facebook. We know we're going to use Facebook because like Lucky is already using Facebook. Peter and Lisbeth are using Facebook. Everybody's using Facebook. Okay, so we're fine about Facebook, right?
Yes.
Right.
So now we only have to make one decision, which is, do we do Twitter or do we not? And that's an interesting question. Because when I'm running a journal, like a newspaper or magazine or whatever, or even a social movement, like let's say a protest movement against war, or a movement to try to raise awareness about poverty, okay? So, you know, Twitter might be a place to go, sort of, just to get the word out, right? But on the, Twitter is good for me because when I post an article and it goes out by Twitter, a lot of people who are kind of research and reading, a lot of people get no notification through Twitter. But I'm not so sure that, do we need, what do you guys think about Twitter? Like, should we do it, or is it a pain in the ass, or what?
What we've learned from watching the YouTube videos about Twitter is that you got to tweet at least twice a day. You got to follow other people to be followed. If you don't tweet, nothing happens. So it's like, whoa, in our daily work, whatever we're doing, we got to think of tweeting all the time.
And then the other thing is that, you know, as we do in our organization here, we do capacity building. We are building our capacity. We're learning how to do WordPress. We're learning how to do Zoom, all of that stuff. In addition, of course, we're learning how to plant food, right? And compost toilets and so on. The thing is, do we really need to add one more thing to the things we have to do?
Thank you, Chris.
So let's get rid of Twitter. Forget Twitter.
Okay, we just thought it seemed to be so important, necessary, but after watching the video, how to use it and how much we have to work on it every day, I think Facebook, we're gonna get the people that we're looking for.
Yeah, I think Facebook is really the more, like you're saying, it's the more useful thing. Like for example, Lucky, Peter and I have a lot of friends from high school where we went together to high school in Germany. And some of those people, many of them were like rich kids, you know, with rich families.
He knows that whole background, Chris. He's friends with many of them.
Yeah.
On Facebook already.
Okay, so then the whole point is that we're in Facebook contact with them, and so that as we build our capacity here with your videos and your pictures, Lucky, and your interviews and all of that, as we do this and we reach out to these people, it is our hope that that these people will start digging in their pockets and support this project. That's what we're trying to do. And I think you're right. Facebook is the key way to go. And then of course, with Facebook, you also have the website, which shows there's a legitimate organization involved. And then of course, with the donation page, we've got a system, which by the way, you know, the donation page already works. So as soon as you want to get your friends, Peter, to start clicking on Patreon, they can set it up. You know, it's been that way for a couple months now, where they can set up a monthly donation. Okay, Peter?
I know that. We just wanted to have something to show first, so they're not just like donating to, what are we donating to? Now they can see a result.
Exactly. Good. So we're almost there. We're almost there. All right, let's get to should we talk about the interviews now? Like the Zoom recording?
Yes.
Yeah, yes.
All right. When I recorded this interview, all I had to do was click on a button at the bottom, right next to the one that says share screen. Do you guys see a button that says share screen at the bottom?
No, we only see our...
It's a green button that says share screen.
No, there's a button.
Oh yes, I do see it. Yes, I see it.
Peter?
See only a green button with an arrow showing up.
That's the one. It says that's share screen.
Oh, what happened now? Shit. Hang on. Okay. Yeah, so I just had to remove something. Yes, I see it. Share screen.
Now, to the right of that, what button do you see? Does it say polling?
Record.
Oh, so guess what? That's how you do recordings.
Okay.
Okay.
So here's what you do. Let's say I'm not around, and you guys decide, you know what? Let's record a conversation like between Peter and Lucky. And let's say in the next couple of days or couple of weeks, Peter, you say, "Hey, Peter, I'm gonna call you up via Zoom, and we're gonna do a recording."
That's what I just told you, Chris. That is what Lucky and I are practicing, like Zoom videoing. And from now on, we'll intensively look into handling Zoom.
So what happens is that when you record it when you finish recording, like when I click on stop recording, it's going to download the data of the file and put it on my hard drive.
Yeah.
So
that's going to be our next step. Now I know how to go on Zoom video and call Lucky, and he knows how to find the email and click, and we've done that, haven't we, Lucky?
Yeah, sure, yes.
And it worked.
Yeah.
Okay, so then what we should probably plan to do is a series of interviews. And I'm just going to throw this out like off the top of my head. The first interview is going to start out with like this. And we'll practice it right now. Oh, okay. Hey, Lucky, how you doing? Hi, Peter. Thanks for joining us here today on November 13th. We are gathered here to discuss the beginnings of AmanoMaka and how it all got started. So why don't we just jump right into it? And Peter, why don't you give us an idea of how did all this start? Like, what were some of the ideas that came to your mind that got this project going? What happened? Can you give us an idea? Now the answer should be succinct. Like, in other words, don't go on talking forever and go off on all different tangents. Just try to be succinct, and then I'll come up with the next question. Go ahead.
As we already practiced, I was working for a Danish organization in Zambia, actually teaching woodwork. And on one of the first days, I went for dinner, and Lucky was on duty at the gate. That's where we met.
Nice. Good. Okay, so this is the kind of interviewing we're going to do. And we should think it through in terms of, like, what should be the first interview that goes already onto the website into, let's say the first, you remember the posts, like the updates?
Yes.
Yeah.
Or on the video page, what we'll do is we'll post this and say, the history of AmanoMaka, or how AmanoMaka got started. You follow what I'm saying? And then we'll do another video on what are the current challenges, like I'm just trying to think this stuff up. You guys know better, right? Like for example, right now you've just planted corn and other things or whatever, and then what you're doing is you're reaping the benefits of it. Now look how high, in other words, do an update of what's currently happening. With that, and then of course another video on compost toilets, another video on rainwater. And you know what would be really good idea, I think? Generally speaking, it would be good if the videos were short, because the last thing that people are going to do is sit for 20 minutes for a video. So, let's say if it's compost toilets, do it fast, explain it all, show this, show that, whatever. And, in 3 minutes, you got it done. With rainwater harvesting, same thing. Updates, same thing. Now we might go longer on the history. Like if we say, Peter, and it not that you were doing carpentry and then you met Lucky. The kind of story that I'm looking for is something that my students like to say. They say back in the day. You could start by saying things like I went down to Africa, or whatever the specific country was, when I was in my early 20s. and I started to, get involved with blah, 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 blah. And then by the time I was 30 or 40 or 50, whatever, and then in other words, kind of like say, I've always had an affinity to working with people in Africa. And so then I ended up running into Lucky and in the school and all the rest of it. You see what I'm saying? Like a sort of a 4 or 5 minute story of how you got involved in this project, Peter?
We've been practicing that, Lucky and I.
Okay.
Since we last spoke, haven't we, Lucky? As late as, the last 3 days, very intensively.
Excellent.
And actually, our next challenge, just quickly to mention, you won't believe it, Chris, is now Lucky has got a massive field with maize, squash, and pumpkin, and nobody else has got that in Kaniki. Nobody. So the next challenge, guess what that is? To protect it.
You told me.
To protect it from.
Yeah, you told me.
We're on the border to Congo.
You told me last week. You need to build a shelter house for the guard.
We need to put a security guard on this because his last harvest was stolen.
Whose last harvest was stolen?
Lucky's. The last pumpkins from the last dry season that he managed to, his landlord's son-in-law stole them and changed it into alcohol.
That's unbelievable. That's crazy. I can't
Yeah.
how disappointed you were after having done all that work. Then you go out there and everything's gone.
That's how.
Yeah.
That's how society has changed in Africa. In previous years, Chris, everybody would respect a farmer's crops. They wouldn't steal. But poverty has become so terrible that now they even start stealing. They don't have respect for people's crops anymore. Isn't that true, Lucky?
Yeah, that's very true, which was some years back. No one should have worried about thieves, It was more like sacred, like something which someone sweats for, you respect it, But that tradition is slipping away slowly, and I think it's due to the, high poverty levels. Yeah, it's one thing, and this is where I even think AmanoMaka comes very handy, because it's at a critical point where people are losing it, They are losing their values and their norms. It wasn't suspected some time back where you can lose crops or anything, but this time, it's something which is like even our neighbors, even at the garden, like we discuss it, like where are we going, like what's happening,
Yeah, good. My God.
What has happened is that a whole population is desperately depending on GMO manipulated seeds where they need chemical fertilizers, and organic seeds, which Lucky was so lucky to find in a village from an old lady, are just not available. So if you apply these fertilizers, which Lucky is using now, just to the GMO seeds, they will not have the same result. But that's some big companies around the world, which names I don't want to mention right now, have manipulated the whole market.
Gotcha.
The whole continent.
Yeah.
The whole continent.
All right. Well, that's pretty demoralizing. But I hope that you managed to find that guard and set that up, because it would be a shame for you to lose what you currently have.
Yeah, sure.
All right. I'm going to hit stop on the record now. All right.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens. If I hit